All over the country, all over the world, people are buying baseball cards as investments. We're going to go out on the floor, we're going to talk with store owners and collectors, and we're going to find out what you should be on the lookout for when collecting baseball cards as investments.
Well, number one, I'm going to tell them you should kind of, buy what you like. If there's a player that you have in mind, or you like somebody with their, I like looking at some of the cards when you can see all the way down into the dirt, you see their shoes, their stockings, it's kind of fun. But if you're going to try not to get hurt and burnt, good ways to come to a show. A lot of deals will tell you the fake, not a fake. I like to buy cards that are already encapsulated by one of the grading companies, PSA or SGC. At least you have a professional there looking at it. They're going to tell you if a card was altered in any way before you make that big purchase and getting burned.
I notice a lot of the cards that you have been graded. Did you buy them graded that way, or do you?
Well, a little bit of both. When I'm going to make a big purchase again, you're going to buy a card for $300, $400, $1,000. I feel a lot more comfortable knowing that it's in one of these holders, as opposed to buying something raw, meaning that it was not in a holder. I mean, you got to have an eye. Some of these guys have a real good eye. My eye's not maybe as good. So sometimes you can get burnt and get something that was trimmed.
Well, the most benefit, what I tell customers is, buy what you like, buy what you can afford. If it ends up being valuable or something, that's that's the benefit of it. Start with what you like, collect it for fun. Everybody forgets that this is a hobby and it's supposed to be fun. Too many kids come in today and they want the business, the dollar amount. Not everybody's got the big budget, so you got to start with the basics. Bring it back to the hobby.
Well, that's totally opposite from what I do. I tell a collector to collect what you enjoy and what you like, but the likelihood or the probability of that stuff going up in value is almost a crapshoot. Whereas the vintage stuff that has already been established and a proven collectible, it is a commodity. It's probably not going down. It's probably going to go up in a worst case scenario. It's going to hold its value. The new stuff, if the player is injured, that's the end of the value of the card. If the career doesn't pan out, the problem is they print so much of the new stuff that you have to guess which is going to be the right product or card to buy, so that I think the likelihood of something being an investment and holding up, having value long-term down the road is not as great. What has happened, the big news about a month or so ago was Upper Deck, which was with Topps, one of the major producers of the new material, did not get a license from Major League Baseball. So as I understand it, going forward into 2010, there's only going to be Topps. Topps is only going to be the manufacturer producing cards. I think that's going to help the hobby because there's going to be less choice, less confusion of what to buy. It's going to be kind of like back to, the more things change, the more they remain the same. It's kind of going back to the old days where Topps was the choice. But now within Topps, you can have Topps, Topps Chrome, Topps Finest, Bowman Chrome. I think it's going to simplify the hobby for kids and even adults buying new material. But it's also, I think, going to enhance the value of the vintage cards of Topps, because now they're going to associate the name Topps. It's not going to be Upper Deck or the other brands that they produced. What I try to tell people is to buy the best card. In other words, if I have, let's say, 3 1967 Mickey Mantle cards, and one is $350, one is $300, and one is priced at $250. I try to tell them to buy the best card that they can afford, because over the long term, it's the better conditioned stuff which will probably outform and probably go up more than the lower grade stuff.
But you can encourage them to then grade that card?
Well, that's going to be up to them whether they're going to want to grade it or not. Grading is an individual thing. Some people will not buy anything but graded cards. Other people don't want the card encapsulated and they want the raw card just as it is. So that's really an individual preference or choice.
Oh yeah, I would tell customers, I would tell collectors in general, if you have vintage packs, don't open it. Keep it. That's as an investment. Now, if you're a true hobbyist and a collector, some guys buy them because they want the thrill of going back with the time period, going back to their day of their youth, opening it up, pulling guys from when they were kids. That's fun too. It's all what the budget could afford. You know?
Well, you really got two different types of collectors. You got the collectors that are really into it for the high grade cards, and they want their cards to be valuable and worth something down the line in case they want to sell them, either to make a profit or just to get their money back. And then you have the collectors that are just into it for the collectability of it, and they want the cards cheap. They don't care about the condition, they want price. And those people are willing to buy cards that have a fuzzy corner or a crease, and they can get the card for half or a fraction of the price of the higher end card, the better condition card. So those are the two types of collectors. I respect both types. I understand both scenarios, both ways of looking at it. But if I was a collector, I would try to get in as nice a condition as possible, but down the line for resale value.